When Christopher Columbus accidentally discovered America, the course of world history shifted in an entirely unexpected direction. Many people today say that it would have been better if America had never been found. Yet, our lives have been shaped so profoundly by that discovery that we experience its effects every single day. For example, can you imagine a day without tomatoes? They're an essential ingredient in every salad and used in countless dishes. When America was discovered, sailors brought tomatoes to Europe. But for hundreds of years, Europeans refused to eat them because the church did not allow it. They said, "This must be the devil's creation, it's poisonous. Just look at its color." Strangely enough, tomatoes, now one of our most basic foods, didn't reach the Ottoman Empire until the 1800s, about 200 years ago. Today, it's hard to find a stew or sauce without tomatoes in it. Potatoes, another vegetable we owe to Columbus, were brought to Europe by Spanish pirates a short while after America's discovery. At first, potatoes were considered a food for animals or the poor. In Ireland, a potato shortage even caused a famine that killed about 1 million people. In other European countries, it was seen as food for peasants and horses. Potatoes entered the Ottoman Empire around 1850, but they weren't widely used in Anatolian cuisine until the 1900s. So we've had potatoes on our tables for just over a century. In South America, native people offered Columbus the fruit and leaves of the tobacco plant as a gift. Not knowing what to do with it, Columbus ate the fruit and threw away the leaves. The natives then showed him how to use tobacco. The dried and shredded leaves were burned, and the smoke was inhaled through a tube. Unlike other foods that people hesitated to try, tobacco was instantly accepted. Within a few years after Columbus returned to Europe, tobacco had spread across the entire world, including the Ottoman Empire. Corn is another food that came to our tables from America. After its discovery, it spread rapidly, especially to China, and became one of the most widely grown crops. Today, corn is found in nearly 70% of all food products worldwide. Beyond popcorn and corn oil, almost every processed food we buy in stores contains corn in some form. There are so many foods that entered our lives because of America's discovery that it's almost impossible not to wonder what people ate before that time. Even chili peppers, which we consume every day, were first brought from the New World. With their many varieties, red, green, sweet, hot, peppers are indispensable today. In eastern and southeastern Turkey, spicy peppers are widely used, and that tradition actually goes back about 400 years. The first peppers that came through Mediterranean trade routes to the Ottoman Empire were sweet varieties, which reached Istanbul and the Aegean regions, so people there first became accustomed to sweet peppers. Meanwhile, peppers arriving through Indian trade routes were spicy and became popular in the east and southeast. Just as a child's taste develops early in life, regional tastes in our country developed based on which type of pepper people first encountered. Our ancestors, unfortunately, never tasted strawberries. For instance, Fatih Sultan Mehmet and Yavuz Sultan Selim never even heard of them. Strawberries were introduced much later and were initially a luxury food grown only in palace gardens. Because they were difficult to cultivate, they remained a delicacy for the wealthy until the 1800s. Today, we enjoy them in cakes and desserts, often with chocolate sauce. Another classic dish our ancestors never knew was beans and rice together. They might have eaten rice, but never with beans. Nowadays, we can't imagine eating one without the other. If there's no beans with rice, something feels missing. Chocolate, too, would never have existed without the discovery of America. Made from the cacao tree, which grows only in hot, humid climates, chocolate originated in South America. The cacao bean itself is extremely bitter, so it's incredible that someone thought to turn it into such a delicious treat. The Aztec emperor loved cacao so much that he reportedly drank dozens of cups a day, and the Aztecs considered it so valuable that it was served in golden cups. Chocolate reached the Ottoman Empire in the mid-1800s in solid bar form, but for a long time it was reserved for the palace elite as a symbol of wealth. In 1927, Ataturk founded Turkey's first chocolate factory so it could reach the public. Still, people were so accustomed to syrup-based desserts that it took time for chocolate to become popular. Vanilla, used in nearly every dessert today, was unknown before the 17th century. Imagine how different bakeries would look without vanilla. Half of the desserts we know today simply wouldn't exist. Peanuts are another essential snack food that came from America. Whether eaten alone or in desserts, or turned into peanut butter, peanuts make up about half of all mixed nuts we eat. Without America's discovery, we wouldn't even know their taste. On his second voyage, Columbus brought back foods such as turnips, chickpeas, and pumpkins, none of which were known to Europeans at the time. Explorers also introduced an American variety of oats, as well as sugarcane and citrus fruits, all of which astonished Europeans and were initially considered barbaric foods that might make people sick. Imagine a world without melons, or sunflower seeds. Sunflowers did exist in the Old World, particularly in North Africa, but they weren't recognized as food. When Spanish explorers saw American natives eating sunflower seeds, they brought them to Europe, and eventually to us. Similarly, pumpkins came from America, and when Turks began roasting and eating their seeds, they introduced pumpkin seeds to the world. Although the discovery of America brought war, disease, and suffering to many, we must admit that Columbus's voyage also gave us an extraordinary abundance of food. Today, it's impossible to imagine life without potatoes, melons, tomatoes, chocolate, vanilla, peanuts, peppers, and corn. And not just those, hundreds of other fruits, vegetables, medicinal plants, and ornamental flowers also spread across the globe thanks to America's discovery. Without it, we might never have found cures for diseases like rabies, and we'd probably still be eating bland meals like celery and leeks every day, just like soldiers once did, marching to war with only dried meat and leeks in their packs. What a hard life that must have been.